Did you know this movie was directed by the same person who directed Superman? I'm in Salad and I saw The Omen. It is directed by Richard Donner, written by Michael Seltzer, and if you haven't seen this movie, I will spoil it for you. This movie starts with following a couple who lives in Rome, Robert and Catherine. Catherine is pregnant. She goes into labor. She gives birth, but her baby dies while she's given birth. However, there's this baby whose mother died in childbirth and has no mother or any family to claim. So they decide to take this baby as their own. They name it Damien. However, something weird's happening with this Damien kid. As soon as they get the child, a bunch of deaths near the family starts happening, and it intensifies when he reaches about the age of 5. There's a Rottweiler that keeps appearing throughout the movie as soon as he turns 5, and also his nanny. Oh man, his nanny's like, Damien, look at me! And then Damien looks, and she hangs herself using a rope that's connected to something over the window. And so when she jumps out, she gets hung and her neck snaps. And I'm like, why would you want Damien to see this? He's 5 years old. Oh my goodness, unless there's something spooky about Damien. This is about the first sign that something is up with Damien, other than the deaths around the family. Whenever he goes into a church, he's like, oh no, I don't want to be here, ah! Whenever he's at a zoo, all the animals flee from him. Or there's this monkey place. You know, at some zoos, I don't know if it's a zoo thing specifically, but there are places, and I've been to them personally, where you can drive through this area with a bunch of animals, and this specific area has monkeys. And with Damien, they just start piling on top of the car, just start shrieking at him. I'm like, man, these monkeys do not like this kid. There must be something wrong with this kid. I don't like this kid at all, man. If a dog doesn't like a person, that's a good sign for me not to like that person, because dogs usually don't like bad people. Of course, the father that they're trying to take Damien to, he's like, this kid, this ain't normal. He's not human, is the Antichrist. And I'm like, kill that kid. Murder him. You need to get rid of him. He's going to cause more deaths, and he's going to cause a lot more suffering. Catherine is pregnant. Damien doesn't like that. So Damien arranges a situation in which Catherine gets hurt and she miscarries. It's really sad, and it's clearly Damien's fault. Damien doesn't want split attention. Mysteriously, the father who's been trying to warn this couple about their kid mysteriously gets impaled by a metal rod during the storm. And I'm like, man, how coincidental is that? Because a metal rod to land through this guy's body like a skewer? So specific. I feel like it had to be some sort of force. It couldn't just be some weather phenomena. So I'm thinking Damien, being the Antichrist, is knocking out people one by one. Also, apparently the Antichrist has a symbol, 3 6s, anywhere on his body. And the reason Robert or Catherine wasn't really privy to this before is that they couldn't see the symbol on their body. One thing leads to another, and Catherine ends up falling out of a window. I really like the build-up between all of these major events in the movie, because there's a good amount of tension throughout the movie. An underlying tension of, oh god, this kid, he's no good. What is he going to do next? And then whenever he does something next, then after he does that, it's like the underlying tension of, what else is he going to do? And towards the end, it ramps up. It keeps ramping up until we hit the third act, in which Robert, the father, he's like, oh, there is a symbol on this kid, and it's in his hair. That's why we couldn't see it. Uh-oh, we gotta get rid of this kid. And you know, he has some plans to get rid of the kid, and it doesn't go very well, because the police show up, and they're like, you're trying to kill a kid. We're gonna arrest you. And they arrest him, and the mother is dead. And at the funeral, guess who's standing there? Damien. I'm like, no, you can't have the Antichrist just be out and about, man. You can't just do that, no. I skipped over the nitty-gritty details, like a hospital burning down with the real mother's records, or the photographer finding a weird pattern with the photos that he keeps taking of the family, where there's this one line that just keeps going through pictures of Robert or pictures of Catherine and nobody else, strangely enough. So it's just weird stuff that keeps building and building and building to show more and more signs that Damien is the Antichrist. And you don't learn that Damien is the Antichrist for real until maybe the mid-second act. About so, and then about halfway through the movie, it's like, oh geez, this kid's a danger. So I really like the directing. It's Richard Donner. What did I say his name was? Richard Donner? Richard Donner? Whatever. He's the guy who directed the first Superman. It was very well directed, I think. This is so spooky. I really like all the shots showing the parents together, because it's like, oh, if you guys only knew that your son was the Antichrist and was going to come to kill you at the end of the movie. If only they knew. There are some really pretty shots in this movie. If you haven't seen this movie, you should definitely give it a try. It's horrific. It's not gory, which is nice, but it is very much psychological horror, more so than straight up blood, guts everywhere. This is scary to think about. There's an Antichrist out there. Who is the Antichrist? Let me know in the comments below. Not Damien. That can't be your answer. It has to be something else. I like this movie a lot. More than giving it a 6.66. It's a better movie than that. Because this movie came out in 1976, and I think this rating is appropriate, I gotta give this movie a solid 7.6. 6.6. Got him. If you like this video, watch another one. The platform really likes that. $20 Dinos at patreon.com/ASEPresents. One movie review per 1 month. Help support the daily grindiness by going to this link tree. It really helps with the daily grind of all them daily movie reviews. So I can go here. And until next time, I'm Salad Saw. See you later, my sour croutons and baked bits. Now, I'm going to make sure that I find the Antichrist so I can put a stop to him. Adios. Is this how I do it?